It is Thursday, October 12th, 2023, and I'm not as tired as I was yesterday because I only spent 9 hours at work instead of 10.8. But yeah, so I I stuck around a little longer cuz they were going to test something else, but it never in the hour that I was waiting it didn't materialize. So they may, I don't know if they're going to do that or not. So I kind of just left. Uh, so I only have to work from 8 until 11:30 tomorrow. So I guess that's a plus. So I'm gonna be heading back for the weekend. Back to parents. So I'll actually get to get a pretty early start. I'm gonna go meet up with uh, one of my favorite. I'm gonna meet up with my favorite math professor, and then uh, just hang out for the weekend. And then on Sunday, I'm gonna go to the church that I went to in while I was away at college. Because it's homecoming weekend, and I don't really care about going to anything homecoming, but um, I think that was the weekend when everybody visited. Uh, when like all the alumni visited back to the school, so I think. Well, I mean, I want to do it at some point while I still have friends there, so I might as well go ahead and do that. So that's the plan. This was part of kind of what I was doing yesterday too, but especially today, I was basically like, okay, I might not be able to provide too much value um, in terms of technical knowledge, but what value can I provide? So basically, I was just paying attention really closely to everything that was going on. First of all, so I could learn about it, and second of all, as different people who are interested in this, to stakeholders, I guess, as different stakeholders would come in and out, I could give them a kind of a little briefing on what was going on, um, and be as up to date as possible. So that's one of the things I did. Uh, I also kind of um, I also kind of ran some information back and forth from different people and tried to. I think I also did a pretty good job of like keeping track of loose ends, because there were one or two loose ends that kind of I kind of asked about when it had looked like people were forgetting about them. And well, I guess I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's pretty accurate. So I helped keep track of one or two loose ends. Uh, and then of course um, I would walk people to the bathroom and stuff because since we had visitors, they needed to be escorted. So so I feel like it was helpful even if I couldn't directly help out with like the testing and knowing exactly what error messages were being thrown and things like that. So I feel like I did a good job. I'm kind of tired though. Gonna have cold pizza for supper. Ooh, for lunch. We went to this place called. Well, I shouldn't say the name of it. I guess. Well, I could. I just have to bleep it out. I don't even remember the name of it either. So, uh, it was really good though. I had the ramen there, and it's like the first time I think I've actually had like good ramen, not like broke college student ramen. I actually made some broke college student ramen. Um, Pretty good. I tasted it. It was pretty good, and that was while I was broken in college. But you fry an egg and you put it on top of that, and that makes your ramen so much better. And then you can throw in some stuff and yeah, whatever. That's not the point. But yeah, that ramen was so good. Probably only should have eaten half of it, but it was really good. People were impressed that I knew how to eat with chopsticks. I feel like that's not a skill that people should be impressed about. Actually, it's kind of interesting, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but so being a percussionist, I know how to do like four mallet marimba and vibraphone stuff, where basically different people use different techniques for it. The main one has it somehow so that like your mallets cross in your hand. That's like what the vast majority of people use, and anybody who's watching who's like, how does he not understand how that works? Well, my drum teacher taught me a different way of doing it, because I really was all in on marimba when I was taking lessons from him. Which who knows how good of a choice that was? I mean, I got really good at marimba, but uh, excuse me, breathing in some of my own saliva there. Um, so the technique that I use, I think it's called the Musser technique. No, I don't know. I don't even know. Um, but the way you do it is you put one mallet in between, in this gap in your fingers, and you hold it in place in there with your two fingers. So the mallet goes like right there, and then you basically, I kind of get this wrong. You're not supposed to have your hand like this, like you do with the other technique. You're supposed to have your hand almost parallel so that the downstroke is actually the downstroke. And if you want to hit with just that mallet, you rotate like this. The other mallet goes kind of into this muscle in your thumb, and then you grab onto it uh, with your other fingers, your other three fingers, and that's the one that you move around by like moving your hand around. So one mallet is always fixed. The This mallet is always fixed and in the same position, so you can always go like this. And this mallet is the one that you move to make small intervals or large intervals, and you twist your wrist that way to hit with this one. And of course, you can go down to hit with both of them. So, manipulating two sticks, well, I mean mallets, but manipulating two wooden objects, wooden lengthy dowels in your in one hand, um, I feel like learning two mallet marimba has significantly improved my cross, no, chopstick technique. Uh, I mean, even though it's like different, it's not the same movements. First of all, uh, for four mallet marimba, your sticks meet in your hand. No matter what technique you use, your sticks, they cross or meet in your hand. Um, and with chopsticks, that's kind of that anti point. And then and they go out from there, where with chopsticks, the point is to go in from some point, and end up somewhere that's not your hand. So, but I do feel like doing four mallet marimba has taught me some transferable skills about chopstick use. To be fair, I was also not that bad at using chopsticks before I learned four mallet marimba. My you know my parents have always used chopsticks when they go places that have chopsticks. It's fun. I mean, it's kind of like the food is designed to eat that way. You're somewhat missing out on the experience because there's a lot. I mean, when you design a dish for chopsticks, it's a lot different than designing it for a fork or a knife or spoons or whatever. Because it's you have to have grabbable things, and I don't know. There's if you are it feels like you are missing out on on part of the experience if you don't. So I guess maybe learning to use chopsticks helped me with four mallet marimba. But it wasn't very long. It was pretty much when I was starting to learn and starting to get good at it that I noticed the correlation. It's not like something years later where it's like, oh, I did this and suddenly, and turns out I'm good at chopsticks now. It was kind of like while I was learning and trying to get good at it, when I was practicing a lot, when I started to notice that my chopstick skills had improved. At least I think. That's been a while now. Maybe there's some false memories, but I do think there is some overlap there. And I don't need to talk about chopsticks for 20 minutes. It's only been 12, but you know. So I have cold pizza to eat tonight. Cold pizza from yesterday. So I'm tired. So goodbye.